Yeah, so we are fallen creatures in a fallen world, and we've been so focused on we should always feel well all of the time. I mean, you see all of these commercials, the direct to consumer types of commercials. Tell your doctor, ask your doctor to prescribe this, and we think that we should be feeling tip top every single day, and when we don't, then there's something wrong. We need to take a pill. We need to get a procedure. We need to do something. It may be there are times we have down days, and because our mind, body, and spirit are inextricably linked together. If we are not doing well spiritually, our body is going to suffer. If we're not doing well mentally, our spiritual and physical are going to end up suffering for that.
Yeah.
And we're all in the process. As soon as we are conceived, we're in the process of dying. We are all, the death rate is one per person. We're all going to make it,
Mhm.
unless Jesus comes again before that. And so we're all going to suffer the decline in our health. We can do things to, you know, to keep ourselves as healthy as possible, but we all have something wrong with us,
Yeah.
and that ultimately can't be fixed, and that there's no pill for that. And we can keep doing procedures and keep trying to plastic surgery to make us look better and all kinds of stuff, but that's not going to fix us.
Yeah.
We're on decline.
So there's another whole field that's in this metabolic health sort of revolution that's focusing on mental health and what they call brain energy. And, Georgia Ede, the author of Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, has the great quote that, last she checked, the head was part of the body, right? So, uh, if you don't have enough energy to do something, feeling depressed could be a lot of things, but part of it could be that your brain is having trouble getting enough energy to power itself. And this is the similar insulin resistance that affects our body. So there's a whole Metabolic Mind website that looks into that. So you're talking one about it's natural to be down sometimes, things go wrong, we can get depressed. I think of the famous quote from Henry David Thoreau. He says, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. It's sort of a negative quote, but you think, well, can't you just take a pill for that? So you don't. No, it's supposed to be part of being stoic and being, aware is that things aren't always going to go right and finding ways to deal with that. But we'd like to diminish the chance that our feeling bad, anxiety, depression is somehow linked to the food we're eating. And
Yeah.
so the whole field in that, this Living Well with Schizophrenia, the young woman who leads that channel, she had thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of followers on her YouTube channel about how she was dealing with her schizoaffective disorder. And then she stopped eating carbohydrates, went into therapeutic nutritional ketosis, powering her body and her mind with ketones. The mind needs some glucose, but it can also metabolize ketones, and your body can make its own glucose. Anyway, she profiles over the next 6 months how she recovered and reduced and reduced and reduced her medications. And now, I sort of joke that she needs to rename her channel Living Well Without Schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But nobody believed that that chronic disorder could be reversed with dietary changes. And they're very careful to say, don't try to do this on your own, go off medications on your own. You need to work with a doctor who understands how to carefully reduce medications that you may be taking. But when you change your diet, you are can have a huge therapeutic change in your metabolism. And if you're taking low blood medications to lower your blood pressure and you change your diet, which also lowers your blood pressure, you don't want to do the two at once without care because you may
Yeah.
not have enough blood pressure, which is bad for
Yeah.
survival. So
Yeah.
anyway, lots of exciting ideas. And, I'm bringing my energy and fanaticism, enthusiasm into this. And you've heard me talk about this nonstop for a couple of years. I hope students can learn from this and sort of navigate through the current incredibly capable system of healing, setting bones and dealing with infections and other things, and try and weed out the things that are just adding costs and are unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is what this year, I think we're going to see a lot of debate on that. And I'm looking forward to seeing cases and helping students write cases in all of these different areas. I'm a registered nurse of 35 years, still have an active nursing license. And so I've dealt with lots of healthcare issues and the industry and all of that throughout. I've seen major changes throughout these last 35 years, and most of them were not necessarily positive. And so I think that the federal government should be getting more and more out of the healthcare business and to promote science and the arts through the use of patents and copyright, not provide for science and the arts through funding.
Yeah, there's so many important areas to research. The one economist, I'll just end with this since we're older people and we could talk forever. We could be
Yeah.
3 days from now, we're still talking. Um, is it, we can't have all the knowledge, just as we say the federal government doesn't, no single person does. We want a system that is learning, that is discovering, that is improving itself, that is healing itself. And that's about providing incentives. So, for example, for people on Medicare, a huge federal program, I'm on a Medicare Advantage program. And as I understand it, the federal government is paying Aetna like $800 a month, a lot of money to manage my health care because I'm 70 and I'm predicted to have healthcare problems that will get worse as I get older. So this managed care system pays that money to Aetna, then Aetna provides me all these services as part of my Medicare program. In theory, I paid into it as an insurance program, but in reality, no, it's a transfer program. All that money is gone. Now, this money that's coming from the government to Aetna is coming from current taxpayers, young people paying into
Mhm.
their Medicare programs. But John Goodman, in his new book, Priceless 2.0, and others argue that this money should be like a medical savings account, that it
Mhm.
should be just 500, 600, 700 that is available, and I use that money to buy the healthcare service that I think is best, right? So I would sign up with a company that is like, I mean, catastrophic healthcare. As an example, in Singapore, they have better health results than we do at 1/4 the cost.
Yes.
Everybody has their own savings account of $8,000 to $10,000 of their own money they were forced to put aside. We don't like force, but people should save money for their healthcare necessities. So the money should be in my medical savings account. I've got $10,000 in it during the window that it was legal. Now it's not legal. But when it was, I set aside that money. I'd like to have $10,000 deductible healthcare insurance and 10, 20, $30,000 in a savings account earning interest that I can draw on to pay for my own medical expenses unless it's a catastrophe,
Right.
something huge, and then I have insurance. That kind of insurance is way inexpensive compared to
Yes.
what we have. So that's the reform. That's, I would say, the number one reform of just switching to a health savings account, medical savings account for seniors, anybody in Medicare and even Medicaid. Let people go to the marketplace to find the best insurance, like healthcare, religious savings account or transfer accounts. What are they called? I forget what they're called. They're like,
Yeah.
I can edit out this part. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember like the like IRAs and
health sharing accounts. So
yes.
with
So yeah, medical sharing.
medical
Medical
sharing.
sharing.
So I
Yeah.
was with Liberty Health Shares, part of the Unitarian Church. So not particularly religious. A little joke on Unitarians there. But basically, I paid $300 a month, and that covered all my healthcare expenses. And the idea was when I had a major procedure, I would go to a doctor, pay cash, and that would be reimbursed by Liberty Health Shares.
Yeah.
Now, they can do that because they say it's not insurance, it's just sharing. We're sharing
Right.
expenses. It's not really insurance. Well, it is insurance, but if it were insurance, it would be regulated by the federal government. So
Yeah.
they're getting around it by calling sharing, and they say, and we're not going to insure you for alcoholism, for drug use, for things.
Right.
We want a signature from your pastor or somebody that know you're a good person, you go to a church. So it's restricted in that way, but we want to encourage people to do the right thing,
Yeah.
live healthy.
Yeah, and that's the same as with like Samaritan Ministries, MediShare, and I think there's another one out there.
Yeah.
So not to skirt them, there, but look it up. I mean, there's a number of not a lot, but there's a number of the medical sharing programs, ministries out there, and we're paying a lot less than what we would into an insurance program, and we're being cared for by others, and we're helping to share that cost with others. And thankfully, that was part of one of the amendments that was added to Obamacare that was allowed to be considered as insurance. And so,
Right.
if you belong to that, then you don't have to buy a separate insurance thing. So,
Okay.
well, thanks a lot for this time, and hopefully it will be beneficial to some or many, and we're hoping to have a number more of these on the healthcare issue for this year for the STOA debaters. And so keep tuning in. We'll be posting these on Monument, and you can post it on Economic Thinking, and we'll see if we can get this message out there.
Very good. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.